And now fashion. From Paris, Barbara Mandel reports on the autumn and winter collections.
There's no doubt that we're in for a long winter where fashion's concerned. Granny-length skirts, boots, belts and voluminous capes all add up to Paris 1970. But most of all, it's the year of the plus fours. Lapidus, like almost every other designer, showed dozens of them. In contrast to the flowing capes, his coats were fitted, flared or straight, with neat collars and little or no decoration. For women who prefer not to wear trousers, there were dresses reminiscent of the 30s. Back in favour were wide belts, bead embroidery, and the clinging lines of material cut on the cross. But even in the evening, the trend is towards les nécessaires, as the French call them, rich fabrics and an occasional touch of fur. Lapidus was one house that showed unisex and managed to keep it wearable. As a tailor rather than a dressmaker, he was in his element with the heavy, smooth materials in a wide range of autumn colours. Carven, on the other hand, made the new line look thoroughly feminine. Capes were in the romantic vein. Colours, lilac, dusty pink and silver, were flattering, and the simple lines gave full value to unusual printed silks. On the whole, Paris hasn't come up with anything very original this season. In fact, nearly everything's been borrowed. Much of it is from the past, some from traditional costumes, and occasionally one gets the impression that there's been unconscious imitation, particularly in the use of colour contrasts. And the Carven bride will wear white this season, a fur hat and drapery to the side. According to Venet, too, weddings are conventional affairs. He used the popular cape line with the fine pleating which has appeared in quite a number of collections. It's a good example of the way Paris has turned its back on frills and flounces. The monastic influence persisted in everyday wear for both town and country. Accessories included suede boots that matched the wide belts, at or slightly above the natural level, usually with self-important buckles. Although Venet towed the trouser line, he wasn't one of the plus fours brigade. There was more than a touch of the divided skirt about his gaucho culottes, worn with severe jackets, buttoned high at the throat. For variation, the same style, but a much gayer fabric. It was the nearest he got to the hand-woven, hand-embroidered look. Laroche took a long, hard stare at Eastern Europe and came up with some beautifully casual clothes. The coats were particularly attractive, either perfectly plain or trimmed with fur. The most unexpected dresses were the peasant ones. And it all goes to show that if you keep some things long enough, they're bound to come into fashion again. But one outfit, in royal purple, was very much in step with the rest of Paris. Where money's no object, the fur is mink. The costume underneath might prove to be rather more difficult to wear. It's made of lame, and as far as I know, none of the other designers showed anything quite like it. And this season, that at least was quite an achievement. Furs by Chombert are always attractive and frequently unexpected. He uses mink like other people use rabbit, dyeing it bright red to match the double-thick knitting. The longer fox furs are treated differently. He trims them with leather, keeps hems down and waists in, and shows them with matching or contrasting accessories. And somehow he always manages to avoid that square, bulky look. As well as using all the popular skins, Chombert is constantly on the lookout for new and more unusual ones. Unusual, that is, from the furrier's point of view. And if the markings are clearly defined, so much the better. Zebra, like elephant, mouse or kangaroo, has a novelty appeal. But with or without the golden studs, mink goes on forever. No Paris fashions would be complete without Esterel providing the comic relief. He had cat suits in full cry down the Champs-Elysees, with fox furs for company. No one knew quite what to make of it, or for that matter, whether to treat his travelling capes as a serious contribution to the cult of unisex. It was certainly the only fashion show that was staged on the pavement, and even if it was for the benefit of cameras, the public were welcome to stop and stare. Among other things, they saw evening dresses made of gold lame, net and peacock feathers. They caught a glimpse of Esterel with his models, and perhaps went away with a very strange impression of what fashion is all about. On the eve of Fashion Week, Bridget Keenan went along to a party given for a group of photographic models, and there she got the answers to some questions that had been bothering her.
What do you think of the Paris Fashion Week?
Drag.
A real drag?
A real drag.
From the point of view of hard work?
Yes, it's hard work and it's very nervous and you have to do very quick change, very quick, and 50 hairstyles a night. It's very boring.
Do you think the collections are important?
Not so much from a clothes point of view, but from people being here, yes, very.
Not at all. I think it's the fashion in the street, it's more important than the collections.
Do what the couturiers show influence what you wear at all?
Almost definitely. I can hardly wait to see what's coming out so I can go shopping while I'm here. No, it doesn't have any influence on me what designers show because I have my own fashion and I don't care about clothes.
Now, who's going to wear it? Not you, not me. People like Feraud, people like that from a very high society. It takes a very long time, you know, before it's really influenced people. But it comes very slowly, slowly, slowly.
So it's not all glamour, even at Dior, where, as well as the clothes, everything from stockings to jewellery and cosmetics is designed to capture public imagination. Here, too, it's boots. Long skirts that unbutton to mini level, belted waists, long straight lines and small nanny-type hats. And to complete the picture, the kind of quilted cape that would have been a credit to Florence Nightingale. Ungaro has also conformed. Midis and maxis replace the minis. Fabrics droop, and even the prints are pre-Raphaelite. As for the coats, well, they're so much in line with the rest that it begins to look like a conspiracy. Feraud, whose designs are on sale in record time, they appear in the shops with very few changes from the originals, well, even Feraud has joined in the rush to turn back the clock. Admittedly, he did play safe at one stage and include a mini with examples of the new lengths. And, like Dior, he slit the maxi to good effect. But it was only an interlude. The show was held in the Paris Museum of Modern Art, an interesting setting for clothes which were only nostalgic to anyone old enough to remember them the last time round. Yves St. Laurent, who was once the bright star at Dior, is one of the designers who started the present trends. He anticipated today's fashions, and it's quite likely that he'll lead the way into 1971. For quite some time, he's been sounding a somber note in every direction, colour, style and general atmosphere, but with an occasional gimmick that has a strange habit of catching on.
Jean-Pierre. T'es pas là, Jean-Pierre? Il était un tout petit peu loin du coup.
Oui, vous voulez qu'on le rapproche un petit peu? Oui, d'accord, peut-être que je vous le rapproche. Oui, comme ça. Oui, très bien. Je vois.
Autumn and winter, according to Saint Laurent, could find us wearing double-breasted leather maxi coats, worn with boots and large plumed hats. Dresses, probably in jersey, will have nothing to relieve the long, long line. The hats, of course, will go equally well with the almost opaque version of the see-through blouse. Belted and worn over pleated knickerbockers tucked into those inevitable boots. So, this is what the well-dressed woman should be wearing sometime in the next few months. Many people, of course, say definitely not, and they may well be right. But I should hate to bet too heavily against Paris.